Welcome back to the Mingy Beef Jerky Game of the Week here, broadcasting from the Whitaker Bank Mobile Studios. Pretty nice deal, isn't it?
Terrific.
Terrific deal. We're going to, this halftime again, as usual, it's 7-0 Hazard. Sayre's done a great job inside the 5-yard line. Interception set up the only touchdown, which was about a 7-yard run, option run, and Johnson took it in for the touchdown. Again, good defense on both sides of the field. Looks like the weather cleared up just in time. Good job of moving the game to a little earlier time. So welcome back. This is Mike Meehan. And again, we're going to start like we always do with our UFOs, our unheralded football overachievers. So I explained that to some people, if you haven't heard this, especially you people from Hazard that might be watching on prepspin.com or on the YouTube channel. We contact each coach a week before the game or the athletic director, and we ask them to give us the name and some information on somebody who's involved with the program, who does a really good job but gets very little credit for what they do. It's really fun to do that. Bruce, we're going to talk to Bruce in just a minute from Sayre, but we've had over the years some amazing UFOs. We've had a young man from Bowling Green who, when he was young, was struck by lightning and pronounced dead, who was now the manager on the team. They thought he would be blind. They thought he would all kinds of things, and he's a normal, absolutely wonderful kid and is the manager on that football team. We've had coaches that perform their duty in wheelchairs. We've had players. We've had boosters. We did one time, I mentioned at halftime that the booster president was a UFO, and that this lady does a great job, and she does this feeding all the players and everybody. And then when second half started, all of a sudden they started bringing sandwiches in. So I thought that was a pretty good job there of that. So we'll start with Hazard. The UFO for Hazard, Coach Howard immediately got back to me and said his UFO is Astor, better known as Cat Sizemore. Cat played football at Hazard. Listen to this. He graduated in 1959. So he's 80-some years old. I'm not going to give his age. And he went on to play football at Virginia Tech. He was an excellent field goal kicker at Hazard, and he ended up being a field goal kicker for the Hokies at Virginia Tech. He actually played for Jerry Claiborne, if you're familiar with that name, when he was at Virginia Tech. Coach also told me that about Astor, maybe Astor didn't want to brag a little bit, but Coach told me that he actually kicked the winning field goal against Florida State that year. And so he did a really good job. I think it was his sophomore year, too. Astor has been involved at the Hazard Bulldog football program for 40 years. Interestingly, he also was the SEC official for 20 years. So he was involved with the football program. He was an SEC official for 20 years. And he and I had a conversation, Astor and I had a conversation on the air, and you might be interested in this. He spent 4 or 5 years in the replay booth at the end doing that.
Wow.
Which I thought was pretty amazing because, I had some questions for him about that. Like when these things are thrown at him, and he said, you know what? It's very calm there. There's usually 2 people. They're looking at it. They're deciding what it is. They discuss it. They're really calm about it. To me, I'd be going nuts up there trying to see that. And who knows anymore? What's a catch, what's not a catch, and so on, especially in pro football and college football. Cat Sizemore, he loves Hazard. He presently is the kicking coach for Hazard. He said he loves working with the kickers, including Mia Rouse, who's the young girl that's kicking the extra points for him now. It's the first time he's had a girl kicker, I think, a female kicker. And I mentioned this early, Bruce. Let's get beyond that. Let's get to the point now where it's not, oh, look, they have a girl kicker. Let's just say the kicker and give her a name. We don't need all that attention anymore. We understand that ladies are making great progress in sports as officials, as coaches, and so on. And I'm just impressed with that. And Cat Sizemore said the same thing. Although he did tell me, I asked him if Mia kicked off, and he said, nah, he doesn't kick off. I think he didn't say him, the kicking coach. He said the coach is a little worried about her getting hurt if he did that. So I understand that too. Coach Howard said that Cat Sizemore is a blessing and he's an honor to the coaching staff to be on the staff of the Hazard Bulldogs. So congratulations to Astor Cat Sizemore, the UFO, the unheralded football overachiever for Hazard. Okay, now let's turn to the surprise. I'm sure he didn't even know this. Unheralded football achiever, the UFO for the Sayre Spartans, Mr. Bruce Issacs. Bruce Issacs. Right, I got my UFOs mixed up. And I said, first time you've probably ever been called a UFO.
That is the first time I've been called a UFO, but this was what's happened at Sayre is special. I played football at Sayre and graduated in 1970, and Sayre ended its football program in 1977. And about 4 or 5 years ago, Chad Pennington, actually he had moved to Lexington, and he has 3 sons, and he decided he wanted his children to go to private schools and play football. So when they were younger, they went to the Lexington school, and Lexington school didn't have a football program, so he started one there.
Right.
And then his older son, Cole, who's a senior quarterback, terrific, well, they all are, and he said, well, he's going to high school. I want him to go to Sayre. Sayre didn't have a football program. He started another one. So Chad Pennington is the guy that's responsible for what's happened at Sayre.
Yeah, but if you run a situation like a program like this, with this facility way out here on Boonesboro Road, if anybody doesn't know, Sayre School is downtown Lexington. I mean, there is no place to have a football field down there, really.
No.
There's a soccer facility down there, I think. But let's get back to you, all right? Not Chad. Let's talk to you. Bruce, you said you played here?
Yeah. I
listen to this, Gary.
Okay, I was quarterback at Sayre, and then went to Kenyon College in Ohio and played football in college and lacrosse, which is a great game.
Oh, absolutely.
And our 2 children, Parrish and Stewart, went to Sayre and graduated from Sayre, went to Davidson and Williams College. And my wife, Leslie, taught in the public schools for 29 years and sort of retired but not. And then the head of school at the time decided, or she talked to him, and he said, what are you going to do? She said she don't know. So anyway, he persuaded her to come back and teach at Sayre. So she's at Sayre teaching now, and she's also in the administration.
Well, at Sayre. Administration at Sayre.
Yes.
Nice. So
say hello to Dave Kessling for me, will you?
Sure.
Dave Kessling was my engineer on my radio show for several years at VLK. Good guy.
Oh, yes.
Great. Keeps the score for the basketball team.
Yes. Yeah. I will do that. And yes, son was in the military.
Yeah.
That's right. So you played at Sayre. Then when did you get back involved with the program?
When Chad started it again, and he called me and just said, what do you think, and invited me in to talk to him, and he has a unique ambition, because actually at the time I thought this is going to be a tough one, starting a football program where nobody's played football,
right?
Or maybe they kind of did but didn't.
Yeah.
And then, but with a guy like that, it made a difference. And all of a sudden, you're getting some people who have actually played football,
right? And
getting kids that are enthusiastic about coming out.
And parental support, from what I've seen, a lot of parental support.
Good support,
here,
yes, yeah. And what they've done out here with this field is unique. It's something else. And I mean, they bought the land, and it was great for baseball. Chase Comley Field over there is terrific, honoring a great young man, veteran. And then they upgraded the football, and then they added lights, which you can enjoy here tonight.
Right.
And it makes a difference.
Yeah, and I don't think most people don't know where this facility is. In fact, last year when I came out here, I'd never been out here before, but
right.
I was impressed as soon as I pulled in. And everybody was so friendly, too. Today I parked right next to the mobile studio here.
Sure.
But last year I parked down in the parking lot, and I just walked through talking to people. because I like to get a feel for what's going on. And boy, everybody was really supportive of everything. Now, what do you consider your job? What do you consider your passion? What do you do now here?
Well, I'm a vocal supporter.
And
from time to time, a financial supporter.
Okay.
And Chad hadn't asked me for any coaching assistant, but that's okay too. I don't need to do that either. Yeah.
I put a lot of pressure on you there, too.
No, but I just enjoy seeing it again.
Yeah.
There was such a break there, and it honestly, it took somebody, Randy Mills,
Yes.
at Sayre,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who's the
PA guy.
PA guy,
Yep.
does every state tournament
Slash
you've ever heard.
and also recruits, right, for Sayre.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a recruiter.
Well, he's the college counselor.
Oh, okay.
And I remember talking to Randy several years ago, and it was and Randy had the idea. I think we need to have a football program, and candidly, I had my doubts.
Yeah.
Well, Randy was right, Chad was right,
Yeah.
they were right.
But Lexington Catholic did the same thing. They went a long time without a football
They
program.
did.
And Father Buter came in there and said, hey, if we want to pick up our enrollment, if we want to get people more excited about this place, then we need to put football in. And I think they did the same thing here because people are excited about Sayre now.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
that
it
you
is.
hear about it.
Yes.
And it's a unique thing. It's a great experience. It's a terrific school, and just to have the kind of coaching that they have, not just Chad, but in other sports, is pretty special.
Right. And I'm going to brag a little bit because
Todd Bretz is a coach here, soccer.
Right. Todd Brett's a friend of mine. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Todd Bretz and our baseball coach.
Clary.
Yes.
Clary. He's former Catholic coach.
Yes.
Kevin Clary?
Kevin Clary. Yeah. It's.
I taught him in school.
There we go.
Back a while back in Bryan Station.
That's all right.
Clary brothers.
I'll
yeah.
brag tonight. My wife taught Walker Bueller.
Oh, yeah.
How
Well, you
about
can
that?
brag on that. He's something else. I tell you what,
And-
he's a pitching phenom.
And Dakari Johnson.
Well, that's pretty good.
No,
yeah.
no. It's entertaining.
Yeah, I told somebody one time I've taught, well, I shouldn't even say this, but doctors and lawyers and teachers and so on, but I also taught 3 murderers, so I'm not too sure about it.
Right,
Well,
well-
that's off my reputation.
Don't mention that, Coach.
No,
I wouldn't
just-
mention that.
no,
Just
mention-
ask it. Where were you teaching?
Let's not talk about that.
Okay, never mind.
Was that a Bryan Station?
No, there was 3 or 4 schools. So I'm not
Okay,
worried
you're
about
right.
that. But no, I want to brag a little bit about what we do here at Prep Spin because one of the goals, and this guy here especially does a super job, not only with Prep Spin, but with his TV show that he has, Scholastic Ball Report. We want to feature these kids. We feel like not just broadcast football games, at least I do, and I know you do too, Gary. We want to publicize these kids a little bit, get their names out there. That's why we point out the things that they do well, and coaches too. I don't ever really want to criticize a kid, but I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind criticizing coaching if he's messing up, like if he's running a score up on somebody or something like that. I just don't believe in that in high school. So.
Right. Well, I tell you what, a lot of these kids for both these teams, Sayre and Hazard, are really good academic students. Like Pennington, I know the Pennington boys are 4.0 students, so a lot of the kids are like that. I know Bill Bernard's son is a good student, Jack Bernard. I know Dr. Bernard very well, and his son goes to school here too.
Yep.
Okay, well, listen, Bruce, it's really been nice talking to you. Our game's getting ready to start here in a few minutes. We want to run a couple commercials. And
I'm going to say one more thing.
you got it, buddy.
I want to thank you guys for being here. It makes a difference, and I promise you that. It's just, it's great that you all have done this, and for Sayre School and all the schools you all do that, and it's really appreciated.
Well, that's the king of stream back there. That's William Warfield.
The guy makes it happen.
Yeah, take a look at all that equipment there.
I don't understand it.
We don't understand it.
We just show up and do the game.
We just show up, let him do it.
There we go.
Well, thanks
Thanks,
again
guys.
for being a UFO
Thanks a lot,
this year,
sir.
and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, Bruce.
All right, we'll be back in just a couple minutes here after a few commercial breaks here at the Sayre and Hazard game. It's 7-0 Hazard as we begin to start the second half.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Madden around?
Some things never change. Like the sound of pads crushing against the equipment, the feel of cleats on fresh cut grass,